Hello and happy Wednesday, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. Another sexual harassment bombshell. This one involving Matt Lauer of the Today Show. Everybody's talking about this. We'll get you the latest.
Plus, the Red Cross always looking for blood donations, but this time of year, things get a little skim, so we're talking about what you can do to help.
And Tennyson tries it, and today is cutting down the perfect Christmas tree.
We've all been there. This is News Center now.
For the moment, all we can say is that we are heartbroken. I'm heartbroken for Matt. He is my dear, dear friend and my partner, and he is beloved by many, many people here. And I'm heartbroken for the brave colleague who came forward to tell her story.
NBC's Matt Lauer has been fired from the Today Show following accusations of sexual misconduct. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. Matt Lauer was abruptly let go by NBC, our news affiliate, after the network received a complaint on Monday night, according to a statement from the company's chair.
Yeah, later on now, we will be talking to an expert about the latest in this string of sexual harassment scandals and how this affects the public's view of people in power. So post your questions and comments right now on our Facebook Live stream. We'll get to those. All right, first, we're going to head over to weather. We get a look outside at some sunshine.
Today was nice, right? I mean, yeah. I could do today. Today was
pretty
very
good.
Diego-ish.
It was kind of weird though. It had its moments, right? Officially 59 in Portland, 58 in Sanford, 60 in Portsmouth. Most of us into the 50s, but we saw some showers later in the afternoon. Temperatures cooled down. We're in the 40s along the coastline, 30s in the mountains. And unlike last night when temperatures actually rose through the evening, tonight will be chilly in the 20s and even teens in the higher terrain. This round of showers is somewhat of a surprise there. Only the last 12 hours or so did the computer models pick up on this. Those isolated showers, though, moving offshore now. Clouds will evaporate pretty quickly coming in out of the northwest direction, and things will dry up. There's the last of the shower bands moving through Bar Harbor and eventually in through Eastport, just getting caught with a few of those. So tonight is clear and chilly. Tomorrow is a nice bright day. Temperatures, though, back to average for this time of the year, which is mid and upper 30s for highs. Clouds increase on Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. Precipitation breaks out. Will be snow in the mountains first and then rain along the coastline. Guys, the weekend looks pretty good, but a big pattern change could be looming after that.
All right, thanks, Keith. The president fired off a number of tweets this morning about a wide range of topics. We're going to start with news in North Korea and the latest missile launch.
Yeah, today President Trump tweeted about a conversation with the Chinese president and says that he plans to place even more sanctions on North Korea. Trump says the, quote, situation will be handled.
The United Nations announced an emergency meeting today to discuss North Korea's most recent missile test. That country's state-sponsored news outlet says the missile is capable of hitting New York or Washington, D.C., but American sources have not been able to verify the weapon's reach. Last week, the U.S. reinstated North Korea as a state sponsor of terror.
Meanwhile, President Trump is under some fire for 3 anti-Muslim videos that he retweeted this morning. The videos were originally posted by a member of, quote, Britain First, which is a far-right political group in the UK. One post claims to show a Muslim migrant beating up a boy on crutches, but the Netherlands public broadcaster says that that is inaccurate. Both people in the video are Dutch citizens. The woman who originally posted the videos thanked the president for spreading her message, but a spokesperson for the British Prime Minister says the president was wrong to retweet those videos.
And the president was just one of several people reacting to the termination of Matt Lauer. The Today Show host was let go amid accusations of sexual misconduct in the workplace. Lauer is the latest in a long list of prominent figures to be ousted for such allegations, including other TV hosts like Charlie Rose and Bill O'Reilly. Now, President Trump sent out 2 tweets about Lauer this morning, saying the big news stations should also be investigated for what he calls, quote, fake news. He went on to imply that other members of the media should be investigated, although he did not share details of these accusations.
All right, changing gears now, and the Red Cross is asking people to donate. Actually, we're going to get to that story in a second, but what we're first going to do is take a break so we can come back and bring you that story.
We're talking a lot more about the accusations against Matt Lauer. When you feel like you know someone, how do you come to terms with allegations of sexual misconduct against them? We have a sexual assault prevention expert in to share her thoughts, and send in your opinions or questions right now on our Facebook live stream. We'll be right back.
And we are grappling with a dilemma that so many people have faced these past few weeks. How do you reconcile your love for someone with the revelation that they have behaved badly?
If you haven't seen it yet, Savannah Guthrie announced to the world this morning that her partner on the Today Show desk, Matt Lauer, was fired for allegations of sexual misconduct.
NBC's chairman released a memo this morning saying an employee filed a complaint about, quote, inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace. The complaint says it took place during the Sochi Olympic Games back in 2014. The memo stated this was the very first official complaint against Lauer, but the company had reason to believe this was not an isolated incident.
Yeah, Matt Lauer co-anchored Today for decades and is well liked by a lot of people, including many of his colleagues. A lot of you weighing in on Facebook right now to say you really respected him.
So how do you come to terms with such serious accusations against somebody that you respect or even love? Christina Rex joins us now with a representative from the Maine Coalition Against Sexual Assault. Hey, K-Rex.
Hey, Lee and Amanda. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we're here with Kara Corshane, and we want to ask you some questions. Just like what Savannah Guthrie said, it's hard for them to reconcile knowing and caring and loving someone personally, or even viewers, seeing him on TV and loving him, and then realizing that he may have done something really horrible. How do you recommend, that people reconcile those two things?
I think it's different for everybody, but like anything, it's important to realize that people can do good things and still do really bad things. And I think that we often have this idea that somebody who perpetrates this kind of violence or harassment is this horrible, monstrous person, and that's the idea that we have in our heads, and then it's somebody that we know, it's somebody that's in our living rooms every morning, and then suddenly it's really hard to deal with.
Absolutely. A lot of people online and even on our Facebook Live right now, someone wrote, I'm a victim, but come on, this is getting crazy. What about innocent until proven guilty? Do employers need to prove misconduct before they let someone go?
I think that I can do something that is not against the law, but is against my company's policy, right? And so I think that it's important to remember that we're not applying the innocent until proven guilty standard to something that a company does. And in fact, most reports of types of sexual violence are rarely false reports. Between 2% and 8% are false reports. And so the idea that this might be a false report or all these women who are coming forward are lying is just not, it doesn't bear out in the statistics.
Only between 2% and 8%, you said. Well, that's very low, obviously. I wanted to ask you, obviously so much of what's coming out in the last month is people in the public light. Do you think that affects a victim's decision to come forward?
Absolutely. I think that when we are looking at how the media, how the public reacts, I think that either has a chilling effect or people come forward. I think that during, for instance, the Jerry Sandusky case, there were a lot of victims who felt comfortable coming forward because it was being really well treated in the media. People were showing sympathy for victims. And when that's not the case, that's really hard.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you so much for being on the show. We'll likely talk more during the commercial break, so stick around, and you guys stick around as well. Lee and Amanda, going to send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Christina.
Yeah, so Katie Ortiz is here now, and this has taken over the internet today, and you've been watching that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there are a few reasons why this sent shockwaves online. The first one being it was so abrupt. Everybody woke up this morning hearing about this straight from NBC News. Savannah even said that, they found out about it moments before they went on the air. And, this did not stem from an investigation or a report, as we've seen with other high-profile cases recently. This accuser, she took her complaint straight to HR. She went to HR. And, that's what happened. And the other reason, this is Matt Lauer. So many of us grew up watching him, before school, before work. He was in our living rooms every Thanksgiving with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We've respected his work as a journalist. We've appreciated him as an entertainer as well. So for that, a lot of people were devastated online. So we'll just get to those tweets. Antoinette says, "It ain't so, Matt Lauer. I am brokenhearted." And Brooke says she's spending her day trying to figure out how to erase any Matt Lauer Today Show memories from her brain. Now, Erin says, "It seems like I'll need an enormous glass of wine to read that Variety piece on Matt Lauer." And another user calls the details horrific and says he's a monster. Autumn shares her shock. "Matt Lauer? No way. Damn, you just never know." So, I mean, again, a lot of confusion, a lot of it seems like with every name, it's just that devastation because it warps your perception of these people. So we want to reiterate, though, that Matt Lauer has not come out with a statement or a comment yet on these allegations that we know of. But as soon as we get those, we'll bring them to you.
Thanks, Katie.
All right. So a story we promised you earlier. The Red Cross is asking people to donate blood during this very busy holiday season.
Yeah, they say they usually see kind of that sharp drop off in donations between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. Chris Costa introduces us to one little girl who might not be alive today if not for the generosity of others.
Yeah, I'll tell you about one of them because it is huge.
Around Kinsey Fry's bedroom, mementos.
A big bear that I got in the hospital when I was having chemo.
Kinsey is officially done with treatment.
How you feeling?
After she was diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer 2 years ago.
This time last year, I had a lot of fear about what was going to happen.
Her mom, Holly, says her doctors tried every treatment to attack Kinsey's neuroblastoma.
Like, you're in complete shock. You can't really think about what that means.
As part of her treatment, doctors removed some of Kinsey's stem cells, preserving them to give back to her in the form of transplants. But Kinsey developed another complication as part of that procedure.
You can't really think about the light at the end of the tunnel until you're through at least the transplant portion.
Beating that required dozens of blood and platelet transfusions.
It's really indescribable how quickly your world can change and how quickly you can, not understand how you take for granted little everyday things.
And now there's 10. Oh, I got them at the hospital at Boston Children's Hospital.
It's those transfusions that Holly says saved Kinsey's life. Donations that hospitals desperately need.
We really have to struggle to get people in here this time of year.
The Red Cross says 38% of the U.S. population is eligible to give blood, but only about 10% do so.
We do struggle to meet the need of the hospitals. The need never stops.
Red Cross members say people battling cancers like Kinsey's rely on platelet donations, but that type only lasts 5 days, and they constantly need more.
So we are pretty much always in a low to critical.
Lowering the chances that other people can recover and live a full, healthy life.
Were you ever scared?
Yeah, I was really scared that I was never going to get better.
What's it like now to be home? How does it feel?
Relaxing.
Moments like these, those little laughs that her mom wasn't sure she'd have the chance to see again.
But if it weren't for the simple act of blood donation, none of that stuff would matter. She's alive today because of, the gift of blood.
In Auburn, Chris Costa, News Center.
Kinsey still has to go to the hospital every 2 weeks for checkups and medication, but she did get to have her Make-A-Wish back in March to swim with dolphins.
Now, the Red Cross says the time can be one of the deterring factors for people to give blood. It could take about an hour from start to finish, but the actual blood collection only lasts about 15 to 20 minutes for whole blood. Chris Costa actually timed it himself. For more information about when or where you can donate, please check out our website or our mobile app. All right, those of you who are looking for a traditional Christmas tree, Tennyson has some advice for you in this week's Tennyson Tries It Lumberjack Edition. Oh yeah, coming up after the break.
And we had some cloudy moments today, but there's a chance for sunny skies tomorrow. Keith's full forecast coming up next.
Tennyson Tries It is something that many of us have been doing since we were just little tiny children.
Oh, I definitely did. Okay, December's right around the corner, which means the holiday season is officially upon us.
So on this week's Tennyson Tries It, News Center's Tennyson Coleman is in the holiday spirit. He takes a trip to a Christmas tree farm.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of Tennyson Tries It. As you can see, it's the most wonderful time of the year, and I'm in the holiday spirit. For the first time ever, this city boy is going into the woods of Maine to cut down his first ever Christmas tree. In the woods of Penobscot County, there's a place where Christmas memories are made.
Everybody's happy at this time of year.
People have come to Piper Mountain Christmas Tree Farm in Newburgh for decades to take home their annual Christmas tree and to get into the holiday spirit.
It means something to be able to provide something that makes it special for other people.
The owner, Jim Corliss, is in his 80s. He began growing trees here at the farm in 1970. Today, there are thousands of trees ready to be cut down and propped up next to fireplaces all over Maine.
And you think about the joy that's happening and the love that's happening around maybe 2,500 homes around a product that came from here. And that kind of warms you up a little bit.
Tuesday, I visited Piper Mountain Farm to cut down my own Christmas tree. When I asked Corliss what makes a great tree, he said,
"Beauty is in the eye of the beholder." We like a tree that, number one, you can't see the stem. It's got enough branches and greens on it so that the stem is hidden. And it should look like an upside down ice cream cone.
After searching all over the farm, I found the tree that I like best.
I think this is the winner.
Corliss showed me the ropes early on.
Stay right in the groove.
Okay. There's not much to it. Just saw until the tree hits the ground.
Don't think I'm going to be able to wear these pants anymore.
It takes a lot of what my uncle would call elbow grease. My arms were tired halfway through, but I knew I had to be persistent. Once the tree is down, timber, I haul it over to the machine that bales the tree.
I came, I sawed, and I conquered.
Making it easier to transport.
And ooh, smells like pine.
Overall, Corliss says I did a good job.
You did fine for somebody that's never done it before.
I didn't actually take the tree home with me because my family still puts up what I call the Charlie Brown tree every year. Instead, I left it at the shop to be picked up by another family at a later time. But this experience totally made me ready for the holiday season.
Well, that was my first ever trip to a Christmas tree farm. I cut down my first tree, and like I always say, if I can try it, so can you.
Or it's definitely easier, Tennyson, when you have someone else holding the tree for you.
Yeah, that is. I have only one question. What are you getting me for the holidays?
You know what? I'm going to have to check with my boy Chris Kringle to make sure you're on his list.
Don't
first,
ask
and
him.
I'll get back
You can't trust a word he says. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know that you're on
we'll
the
see.
list.
Nice job, sir.
You're not on his list, I don't think.
No.
What do you think?
Keith, are you on the list?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Why not?
Which side?
Yeah, that's debatable, I suppose.
That's the big question.
He did a good job with the tree, I thought.
Yeah.
Even though we did the fake tree
It's
thing.
good work.
It's all right. Today was pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
Almost 60 in Portland. 59 officially in the 50s up and down the coastline, 60 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Millinocket only around 49 degrees. Temperatures have fallen though as we've seen some precip move through, so into the 40s, 30s in the mountains here. These showers were not well handled by the computer models until basically this morning when they showed up all of a sudden. A couple of them now moving offshore. That's the last batch, and a few snow showers still ongoing here in some of the foothills, but those are tending to dry out as they head downhill. So those dry out. Most of tonight is partly cloudy, becoming mostly clear by tomorrow morning. Unlike last night, temperatures will fall pretty rapidly tonight, so we'll be in the 20s and some teens before we start warming back up tomorrow. We only get to around 40 though, with clouds increasing in the afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, and then some precip moving through tomorrow night and through Friday. This isn't a very big storm system on Friday, but it will be a little messy with rain for a lot of us inland and coastal locations, and then some snow in the mountains mixing in there before it gets out of here Friday afternoon. It's a quick mover. After that, the weekend looks pretty good with partly cloudy conditions both Saturday and Sunday, and temperatures right around 40 to 43 degrees on both of those days. Snowfall in the mountains, again, not big, 1 or 2 inches, and most of this will be high terrain driven. They've been really pumping the snow guns lately, so this will be something, because today they probably lost a little ground. around 50 degrees. After that, it gets more interesting as we head into 6th, 7th, 8th of December. What I'm seeing on the large scale is a very favorable storm track pattern. We've got a lot of cold air here and the jet stream here, and those two things usually collide to bring us some snow, but it's too far away to say for sure. Something to look forward to or dread, depending on your disposition on that kind of stuff. Again, the weekend's decent. Could see a flake or a shower on Monday. Tuesday looks okay, and then Wednesday some rain. So nothing big in the next 7 days or so, but we will have to keep an eye on the pattern change that is coming down the pipe. So overall, not too bad. No more 60s though. I mean, this is like a one-day thing.
Not yet.
Yeah,
that was a nice little.
There's always time for the thaw.
Yeah.
Eventually.
We'll get there someday.
Good, thanks, sir.
All right, Cindy Williams has a look at what's coming up at 5:30. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. Coming up, Congressman Bruce Poliquin says his bill will prevent sexual harassment in Congress, but some say requiring training and prevention courses just isn't enough. We're going to have more on that. And the town of Wiscasset is taking the Department of Transportation to court, why some residents have a problem with the traffic plan coming up in the next half hour. News Center Now. We'll be back right after this.
All right, today's Brain Drops, and I'm not afraid to go after our own group every once in a while. This is a tweet that we put out last night. Lee?
This never happens. Snow in Hawaii, I mean, that's
just
as rare as,
it's just
you and I agree.
113 retweets.
Yeah.
Digital department was happy.
Things that never happen.
Except this happens literally every year in Hawaii. It snows every year in Hawaii. In fact, quite a bit, and we'll show you why. Let's take a look at the satellite image. What do you notice on the satellite image of the Big Island of Hawaii? Snow caps, right? Those are two volcanic areas that are 13,000 feet and higher. And the snow level is about 8,000 or 9,000 feet. And so it snows routinely on top of these mountains, and quite a bit. It's also worth noting that the Big Island has 5 different climate zones, including tundra within it. So it's got the tropical, it's got tundra, it's got semi-tropical as well. So it is hugely varied. Look at the topography of this.
Wow.
This is something I notice a lot in weather, guys. People have these ideas of areas, and they don't realize how varied they are. Like Las Vegas. People say, I want to go to Vegas in February. Okay, but it's cold. Like, people don't realize that some of these areas have very diverse climates. Flagstaff, Arizona, over 100 inches of snow a year is their average. It's almost twice as much as southern Maine.
Wow.
So there's a lot to know here.
Yeah.
What a clickbait tweet by our
113 retweets.
I know.
Snow in Hawaii.
Liam's happy.
Who
Liam's
knew?
happy about the the numbers. Would be great.
All right, News Center at 5:30 starts right now.